Alright, here again to show you how to restore your Nintendo Entertainment System if you're having problems with gaming. The games, when you slide them in there, if they're not working properly, you have to wiggle them around in here. You have to constantly push them up and down, turn the power off and on, off and on. Well, this could be your problem. Your 72-pin connector, which you can pick up off of eBay or a lot of different places on the internet sell these refurbished, which they actually look brand new. So, to get started, you will need a Phillips head screwdriver. You will need some high concentrate rubbing alcohol, and you will need some multi-metal polishing cleaner. Alright, well, to get started, there are screws on the bottom, which you will need to extract out, all of them, which I've already done ahead of time. And then after you're done extracting all the screws out of the bottom, you will need to pull the housing off the top. This piece will be connected here. You will need to pull that out as well, which I've already done ahead of time. Then you will need to extract all the screws out of the metal housing all the way around, which I've already done ahead of time. Then you will carefully need to slide it out from underneath this heatsink. Set that off to the side. Then there are two screws, one here you will need to take out. Then you will need to take out all the screws around the plastic gaming dock. And note that there are two screws that are a little longer than the rest of them, and they do go on the second space from the back, so keep that in mind. Alright, secondly, you will need to pull all the connectors out from around the motherboard, which after you get all the screws out will easily come out of the plastic housing. First, game control will plug in, or you will see it plugged in to the front. You will need to carefully pull that out, as well as the second gaming control and the power and reset connector, which everything goes back in uniform. Just remember, first gaming control goes into the front panel. Alright, after taking all those screws out, then you will need to pull the motherboard along with the gaming dock out of the metal housing on the bottom. And then you can sit this off to the side because you are done with that as far as that goes. Then you will need to carefully pull this out, which is hard to do with one hand. But yeah, I will pull this apart at the pause this. Alright, well, as you can see, this pulls straight out pretty easy. Then you will need to put that off to the side. Then your 72-pin connector is actually just pushed on to the motherboard. Then you just pull that off as I did. You can choose to keep the old one. I'm going to write old on the old one. That way I don't mix them up for some unknown reason. Alright, so I got old on one of them, the old one. And then I will be connecting the new one. But before I connect the new one, as with the games, you will need to clean your terminals here, connections. And I'm going to go ahead and, with that metal polish all this all the way around. All this metal all the way around. and on the bottom side, just to keep it pretty clean. So what you will need to do is get some of your metal polish. Lots of Q-tips on this one. Grab some of your metal polish and clean it just like my video on the games. Circular motions. And I believe these are silver. Not 100% sure, but I believe they're silver. So you will need a polish, which mine cleans multi-metals, including silver. But yeah, just repeat this, clean it very thoroughly. You can see how dirty it is. You will want to clean this for sure before you put your 72 pin connector on, to avoid dirt and grime from the old one on here. And then I'm just going to clean this all the way around. And then once you're done all the way around on one side, then you'll get the rubbing alcohol, dampen the end of it, or you can take a paper towel, damp with rubbing alcohol, and wipe all that polish residue off, all the way around. And that's it. It's easy as that. Just try to remember how everything goes when you're taking it apart, because it will be a breeze if you remember everything. It's not too complicated, taking it apart and putting it back together. So, there you go. Pick one of these up off eBay for less than $10.